Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to our online teaching, children. Today we are going to see about the components of staffing. Recruitment, selection and training are the three components of staffing. First we'll see recruitment. It is the process of searching for prospective candidates and encouraging them to apply for jobs in the organization. And this process stimulates people to apply for job. It 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 is before the selection process, and it aims to create a pool of candidates so that management can select more suitable candidate. The major aim, the primary objective of recruitment is to create pool of candidates, prospective candidates, so that we will have a wider choice in in choosing the most suitable candidate. And it also aims to serve two functions. One is to discover various sources of manpower, and the other one is to create pool of applicants. We need to identify the sources of manpower, whether the manpower source is within the organization or outside the organization. We have to discover the sources where manpower is available, and it is also needed to create a pool of applicants so that we will have a wider choice. We have two sources of recruitment. First comes internal sources, which is within the organization. Okay, so this is within the organization, that's why it is called internal source of recruitment. We have our existing employee who can be considered for promotion or transfer. Okay, so we'll see first about internal sources. So we may have the existing employee who can be considered for promotion. When they are raised from the lower level position to a higher level position, this movement with the added responsibility, added facility, increased status and increased pay is called as promotion. And this actually leads to vertical shifting of employees in the hierarchy of the organization structure, and this improves the motivation of employees, and the loyalty and satisfaction level of employees are also improved, because the other employees, by seeing one employee getting promoted, other employees gets motivated and they try to achieve this type of promotion in the future. Okay, and for those who got that promotion, they will be very loyal, even more loyal than earlier, and they will always have satisfied level. Okay, they will work in their utmost satisfaction as they have been recognized by the organization. It has a great psychological impact over the employees, because promotion at a higher level may lead to promotion at lower levels. Like if a person is promoted to the level of head of the department, like production manager, then it leads to chain of other promotion also. Suppose if assistant manager is raised to the position of production manager, then assistant manager position will be vacant. So any foreman who is working efficiently can be promoted to assistant manager's position, and then that foreman position will be vacant. So to fill that vacancy, we can promote a suitable candidate to foreman also. So likewise, one promotion leads to chain of promotions at the lower level. So this is about promotion. The second internal source is transfer. Transfer means shifting one employee from a job to another job, or from one department to another department, or from one shift to another shift, or without any change and responsibility in the position. Okay, so all these shifting will be from one job to another, one department to another, one shift to another, and all this without any change in responsibility or the status of the employee. So this shifting of employee is called as transfer. But most of us know transfer associates with promotion at times. Okay, suppose like from one branch to the other branch, if the employee is going to be transferred, always it will be along with the promotion. So we have heard together, but even inside the organization, even without without our knowing, many employees work in rotation. This is called actually job rotation. Okay, so they will be shifted from one job to another. On rotation, they'll be doing their job. So these are the internal sources. Next, we are moving on to the merits and demerits of internal sources. First, coming to the merits, it has a higher motivational level. Internal sources will motivate the existing employees. So if one employee is getting promoted, by seeing that person, other employees also will get motivated. And this is a very simple process because we need not spend any amount here for advertising or for making others to know about the vacancy. We are not going to spend here. So it is a very simple process, and it develops future managers. As others get motivated, those employees develop their skills, so we can develop future manager. And as these employees are already known people, we need not conduct any induction training for these candidates because they are our existing employee. And when we promote people, these internal sources, when we use, we do not overstaff or understaff. Overstaff means the work to be done will be less when compared to the number and type of workers. And understaffing means available number and type of workers will be less when compared to the required number and type of workers. Okay, so we will neither overstaff nor understaff in case of internal sources. And finally, it is economical, as we are not going to spend even a penny for filling this recruitment using this internal source. It is very economical. Now, on the other side, we have the demerits also, that is limitations. The first limitation of internal source is lack of fresh talents. Suppose if the company is in need of fresh talent, we cannot go for this choice of internal sources. Okay, because these are the employees who were with us for a long period and they know the working style. So fresh talents may not be there, will not be there in case of internal sources. Next is decrease in enthusiasm level. The employees may become lethargic if they come to know that they will be promoted after particular years of service. So this may decrease their enthusiasm. Then not suitable for a new enterprise. In case of new enterprise, we cannot use this internal sources because they are already new, so they will not have experienced candidates to get promoted. Okay, next, lack of competition. As the existing employees only are promoted, the spirit of competition will not be at its highest degree in case of internal sources. But in case of external sources, nobody knows each other, so they'll be very competent and somehow they will try to get the appointment letter. They get themselves to be appointed. Okay, but here it is not so. As all are known people, the competition spirit may not be there. Next, low productivity. The overall productivity of the organization reduces due to frequent transfers. When we transfer a person frequently from one job to another job and on a periodical basis, it's not going to help the organization in efficiency because they may be effective, but they will not be optimally utilizing the resources. Wastage is possible when a person is transferred from one job to another job. Next, limited choice. We will have a limited choice. That is, how many is the population, how much is the population of our employee, only to that extent our internal sources. Okay, so that limited choice is there in case of internal sources. So these are the merits and demerits of internal sources. Next, we are moving on to the external sources. The first external source is direct recruitment. In this pattern, a notice board will be there in all organization, and in that notice board a small notice will be placed regarding the vacancy of the jobs available. And by seeing this, people will come and step in and join for work. So this is suitable for both skilled as well as unskilled employees, and the workers appointed through this direct recruitment are called as casual workers or badly workers, and they are recruited on basis of daily wages. They are paid only as daily wages. This is very economical, and it is suitable when permanent workers are absent. When we go to bigger companies, we can see such type of direct recruitment happening on a daily basis. They are not going to spend anything for this, so it is economical, and we are not going to hire these employees permanently, so just one day wage is enough. When we do not have permanent employees to job, when they are absent, we can replace with them, we can replace those employees with this casual or badly workers. Next comes casual callers. Casual callers are unsolicited applications from job seekers at various points of time. These people, they will just step in the organization, and it is not necessary that a vacancy should be there. They will just like that step in the organization, they will give their biodata, and they will walk away. When we have any vacancy, the organization will search in this casual callers and shortlist a biodata, and then they will be called for an interview. Okay, so this type of applicants only are called as casual callers. This is also very economical because we are not advertising for the information regarding the job vacancy. Next comes advertisement. Here we need to spend some money because we are going to inform the prospective candidates about the vacancy of job available in our organization. So here advertisements are given in newspapers or journals or television, and this is the most common method which is used by many organizations, and this will give flood of response. Like, as it has a mass approach, many people will apply for the job, but not necessarily that all are suitable candidates. Sometimes those people who just want to try also will apply for a job. So we will have flood of response in case of advertisement. Next comes employment exchange. Employment exchanges are run by the government, and this is used to fill up the unskilled and semi-skilled job. Okay, so here what happens, an individual will go and register in the employment exchange, and if any vacancy arises, these employment exchange will be in touch with the employers, and in case of any vacancy, the employment exchange will just forward the interview card to the individual or the candidate, and then this person should go and attend the interview. Okay, so that in that way they serve, this employment exchange serves as a link between the job seeker and the employers. But what is a major drawback is the records are not up to date in few cases. Okay, so that is a drawback in employment exchange. Next comes placement agencies and management consultants. Employment exchange is also a manpower agency, but it is run by the government. When it is done by a private agency, we call it as placement agency or management consultants. So here they undertake total function of recruiting. Here they go one step ahead and they conduct the preliminary screening of the candidates in their place itself on behalf of the other organization. Okay, and they charge. Okay, so they charge for all the services rendered, but they are useful for extensive screening. Suppose if you want your candidates to be completely screened on various levels, on various aspects, on the various skills, manpower agency or management consultant will be the best choice, because extensive screening is done by these people. The organization need not waste its time, waste its human resource in this process. They can just give this work to the placement agency, that is outsourcing. Okay, they can outsource this work to the placement agencies, and this agency will help in recruiting technical, professional, managerial personnel at middle level as well as top level. Okay, they actually provide a nationwide service and they maintain data of all person with different qualification, and they also they just also update it often periodically. Okay, so this is about placement agency. Next comes campus recruitment. Organizations, what they do is they conduct interview in various institutions or universities and colleges to search for prospective candidates. So those people who are doing very well in their colleges, they can be recruited by these organizations in campus recruitment. Okay, and for this they have to have a tie up, the institution and the organization should have a tie up, and they have to be in touch, and only then they come for conducting interview. And this is a popular source nowadays for a technical, professional and managerial job. You would have heard, if anybody is studying is doing his college studies, then the common question which is asked by many is whether they have campus recruitment, because as they come out of the college, by completing their studies, they will also have a job in their hand. Okay, so this is made by visiting and participating in college campuses and their placement centers. So this campus recruitment is done by going in person to the college instead of conducting interviews in our campus, in the organization's campus. Here it is conducted in the institution's campus itself. Okay, and from educational institution is a well established practice of business. So now actually it is known for colleges, from educational institutions, it is a commonly known fact. Okay, next, recommendation of employees. Even our own employees who are working with us can recommend known people or relatives of them for a suitable position in the organization. So here it is an advantageous thing, because the preliminary screening will be completed by the employee himself or herself, because they will refer only suitable candidate for that particular job profile. And the background check also we need not bother about too much, because the background will be known to the employee who is working with us. So background check also will be good in case of recommendation of employees. Next comes web publishing. Nowadays we have many websites called naukri.com, then Times Jobs. These are some of the websites which actually give intimation about the vacancy available in different institute, different organizations. Okay, so these websites are designed exclusively for this purpose, for job seekers and job openings. Okay, so this is web publishing. Next is through labor contractors. Labor contractors are the employees who are working in an organization, and they will have some set of people with them, under them, and they will be referred to the vacancy. And these people, this manpower is used for hiring unskilled and semi-skilled workers. Here contractors always are in touch with the organization. But suppose if the contractor is deciding to go away from the organization, along with the contractor, even the manpower together also should go out. They cannot continue by themselves, because they are working under this labor contractor only and not for the organization. So these are about external sources. Now moving to the merits and limitations of external sources. The first merit of external sources, we will get qualified personnel. Qualified personnel is, as we screen the candidate at different levels, we'll be able to get qualified personnel for the job. We will also have a wider choice, because we create a pool of applicants through this recruitment process. So we will have a wider choice when compared to internal source of recruitment. And we will also get fresh talent. It is not necessary that we have to use only our employees for promotion. When we expect fresh talents from outside, we can rely on external sources also. It will have a competitive spirit. Those people who attend the interview, they are not known to each other, so they will compete among themselves to prove their best and get selected. So in this way, competitive spirit will be there in these type of candidates when compared to those employees who are working with us. Okay. Next comes limitations. The first limitation among the employees is dissatisfaction, because when a new person is getting appointed, the existing employees may think that whether they are not capable for promotion. So this leaves a dissatisfaction in their mind. Next, external source is a lengthy process. It's not when compared to internal sources, it's a lengthy process, and it's not preferred by many organizations who try to avoid this lengthy process. Okay, then it is a costly process too. Suppose if you want to create a pool of applicants, then definitely we have to spend some money for advertising about the job description. So in this way, it is a costly process. Okay, children, today we have discussed about recruitment. Thank you.